Welcome to the Crosstown Nine. Chris and John back again, and back early again. We're coming to you from the past again. It's 4th of July weekend. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. But because it's 4th of July weekend, we don't want to record during the weekend like we usually do. So we are going to do a blast from the past. You'll get a couple of these, but they really did spark an idea this last episode. If you haven't seen it, it was fantastic. Again, a lot of hate on the clips. Keep the hate coming. Love it. I really wanted to reply. I usually don't reply to people, but there was one guy that he said, like, he called us like ESPN wannabes or something because they're like Travis Hafner had a like great career or something. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I said before the Yankees he was like the best hitter in baseball for 4 years. So yeah. I don't, what the hell are you talking about? I gave him his flowers. But anyway, keep it coming because it just helps us out. Anyway, if you want to hate on us, at Crosstown Nine Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and X, you can go hate on us there. How are we doing? I know it's a big day of World Cup for you. We did not watch. By the way, to give you some insight, the Yankees got spanked today. I don't even have to tell you what day that is. You'll never know what day we recorded at this point. But they got spanked today.
Yeah, bro.
It's tough. But it's been a big day of World Cup for you.
Yeah, man. I'm pumped now through the group stage into the knockout games. I'm loving watching every minute of every game, especially being at home. Colombia's playing well. So when they play Friday or have played Friday.
So they will have played by the time you listen to this. Should we dub like, I can't believe they won, or I'm so disappointed they lost, and we just put it in, whatever.
Yeah. So they have a good matchup. They have a good side of the bracket. So fingers crossed they're going to run. But there's some phenomenal teams in the world. Like France played today, beat Sweden.
Yeah, France has
Spain, England,
one of the best players in the entire planet, so it helps them out.
Yeah, helps to have them.
Helps to have them. You know, having good players helps, Cashman. But the thing with me with the World Cup is I tried to get into it when it was first starting, but it's tough for me to get into the World Cup with it being here because it's caused me so much, like, it's just gotten in my way so much for work that I can't enjoy it now. Like, I can't enjoy it because I'm just getting frustrated about everything that goes on with it. But anyway, I'm glad that you're enjoying it, and I'm sure I will pop in. U.S. is still alive, I'm pretty sure, at least as of recording.
Yeah, they play Wednesday.
We'll have played when you listen to this Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So we'll eat peanut butter and dub over again so you could know which one happened at the end of that one. But in the last episode, we were talking about the all-time legendary, that guy was the Yankees. They had a lot of them, especially in the mid-2000s, and we were going over a lot of the 2013 team. So I went back, and I was kind of researching that time period. I texted John, I was like, we need to do just a retrospect or just an overview of the 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016 teams, because that time period was very weird. It was like one era's leaving, a new era's coming in, and like the 2 years in between that were the era of like that was like the era of like that in between, literally the in between. Like, yeah, we didn't know what to do or anything like that.
Figure out what's next. Yeah.
I thought it'd be fun before we start, because this was part of, I believe he was on the 2013 team. And I just find this hilarious. So I'm going to pull this up for you. I said I was going to do a pre-show, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait. Let me see if I can find it. All right. So we talk about Vernon Wells and him being on the 2013 team. So I was looking at his Wikipedia. So let's share that. His Wikipedia photo is him with the Yankees. the pit stop of his career, great Blue Jay, like had a really good career.
Really good.
And when they chose the photo, they chose him with the Yankees, which just, it made me laugh. I was like, I think he was only there for 1 year. I don't even think he was there for multiple years. He had a great Blue Jays career. Pretty sure he had a good stint with the Angels as well. And he had nothing with the Yankees. And that's how they decided to remember him forever on Wikipedia. So thank you, Wikipedia, for again.
Everyone loves the interlocking and why.
Everybody wants to be a Yankee. Doesn't matter. Everybody wants to be a Yankee. Yeah, and Wikipedia needs clicks so then it can come in and say like, please donate.
Please donate. Yeah.
Please
I
donate
would
to
most do
Wikipedia.
that.
And I'm like, you're good free. I like you as free. Like, you want me to write the articles and pay you to do it? Okay, yeah. That's what I want to do.
You're right where
Sure
you need to
thing.
be, Wikipedia.
You're right where you need. You've survived this long. You've been around since the internet started. I think you're gonna be okay. I think you're gonna survive. You don't even need. What do you need? What do you need it for anyway at this point? Anyway, Wikipedia, you're great. Love you, Wikipedia. But I just thought that was funny. So when we were doing that, we were going to go over the 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016 team. We did a little bit of the 2013 team already because we talked about a lot of the weird guys. Just to give people that didn't hear the last episode, like a little reminder of some of the guys that were on that team. We just talked about Vernon Wells, Ichiro Suzuki, Alfonso Soriano. That was the year. That was the year he was traded to the team and went on like a 17 home run tear in like 2 months. He had like an unbelievable year. That was one of Granderson's first years. Brett Gardner led the team in WAR. By the way, I learned. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I would not doubt it because Granderson was not starting. I think he got injured that year as well, and so did all the other really good players. Kevin Youkilis was on that team. Lyle Overbay. The one that we forgot that I texted you, Mark Reynolds was on that team. Mark Reynolds, great Rocky and pretty good Oriole, but he was on the Yankees on that team. Travis Ishikawa, who had that one big home run for the Giants. And Travis Hafner was on that team as well. So that was kind of why this all started. So I don't know if you gotten to dive deeper into the 2013 team at all. Got to see some of the stats or like how these players were, but that is like the most in between team I've ever seen in my life. That same year, we just talked about. You could talk a little more about A-Rod. He got injured. Jeter got injured. Teixeira got injured. I'm pretty sure Granderson was injured. Yeah, only played 61 games that year. Just a weird year for the Yankees.
Yeah, so I think we were looking back a little bit before we started recording. We were like, you're coming off of 4 years, 4 years of really good baseball, right? You won the World Series. They went to the CS. I think lost in the CS, lost the DS, lost in the CS. So you're like, good stretch of baseball. And then you're reaching the end of the core four and things are just starting to dip, right? Like players are getting injured, they're not performing as well as they should. And like what you said in the beginning, like you're getting out of the one era and trying to see what's next. And as everyone knows in sports, that in between part is brutal. Very rarely do you go from a Hall of Famer to a Hall of Famer or like a great team to a great team. That's so hard to do. So this was kind of that, where you were like, who was the talisman of the Yankees that we're going to build around? And you don't really see that until Judge. So like
Yeah.
those like 3-4 years until Judge comes around, it's like, what exactly are the Yankees? And you see that with the roster, right? Like we joke again, coming to 2013 of the quote unquote random veterans that they had on the team playing for them, playing like 100 plus games. And they were just kind of just 500. Obviously, the Yankees never go under 500. So they're like teetering 8 games above 500 these years. And it's like, what's next?
And this was one of those. See, I got a little bit of a different look at this. Like, yeah, it was the in between, but a lot of those moves to me seemed like they were trying to keep the ship going when all the guys got hurt. Like, so in the offseason, they got Hiroki Kuroda, who was pretty. Oh no, they resigned him, resigned Pettit, resigned Mo, signed Kevin Youkilis, re-signed Ichiro, brought in Hafner, and got Vernon Wells in a trade. So they were trying to retool a little bit with some stars and everything like that. But then they brought in all of those other weird names that we brought in, like the Mark Reynolds, the Lyle Overbays. Like those were all in-season moves. And I feel like it was because Jeter, Rodriguez, Teixeira, Granderson all went on the DL that year. It says all of them had extended DL stints starting in May. So it was early that these guys were fallen off. And it's like, well, we just came off 4 straight great years, World Series, ALCSs, NLDS, or ALCSs, ALDSs. Like, we can keep this going. We can keep this together. And it just didn't happen. Like, they tried to take former stars to keep the ship afloat, and the ship did not stay afloat whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's funny because like you could look at the stats and like for some of these years, you still had like pretty decent starting pitching. Like you still had like if you look at all their pitching, even in 2013, like everyone was essentially 500 except for Phil Hughes, who was horrendous that year in 2013.
Yeah, 414. Oh my goodness.
But like CZ 500, Kuroda 500, 41-year-old Pettit 500, with like
Literally
not
500. He was
terrible
11 and 11.
ERAs.
He was the actual
Yeah,
500.
and then like you can just look year to year, and the starting pitching it wasn't horrendous. Like they had names. Like in every, I think every year they had names. They had Tanaka in 14. I think that 14 year for pitching was kind of the weird year in terms of their starters, because was CC hurt that year? Was he? 'Cause he
In
wasn't done that
2013.
year.
Is this, you're talking
Yeah,
13
and 14. Sorry,
and
14.
14? No, he didn't. He was still around because he was around when Judge came up. So he was around well past that. He must have gotten hurt.
He was a bit
14
hurt that year.
was Jeter's last season.
Mm-hmm.
That was also Ellsbury's first season. So again, were they trying to keep it? I actually have a thing right here of subtractions and additions from 13 into 14 to give you an idea of how the tides were turning. They added Brian Roberts, which again we'll get into some of these. Jacoby Ellsbury, Carlos Beltrán, Masahiro Tanaka, Brian McCann. I'm not going to name everybody, just the ones that mean something. Andrew Bailey and Kelly Johnson. And the only reason Kelly Johnson means something is because he started on opening day. Rivera and Pettit both retired after this year. Overbay gone, Chris Stewart gone, Phil Hughes gone. This is the first year without Robinson Cano. He just left after last year. Nunez gone. Granderson, they let walk in free agency. Vernon Wells, they released. Mark Reynolds gone. Jabba Chamberlain also gone. Kevin Youkilis, this is funny. It says he signed with the Golden Eagles. So he just went over to Japan after this. He's now done with this. But you could see like some of the veterans they let go, but a lot of those guys that were the core players, Mariano and Pettit being part of the core 4, Robinson Cano being like the big young stud for the Yankees, left in free agency. Phil Hughes was the touted prospect. He left after this year. I know we just said he had a really bad year. Curtis Granderson, 2 years before, 11 and 12 was like an MVP candidate. So you saw a lot of these people leave. So, but they were still in between. Like, should we just try to rebuild or should we try to keep rolling? Because they bring in Ellsbury, they bring in Tanaka, they bring in Brian McCann was a pretty big name at the time at catcher.
Yeah,
so
Brian
like
McCann
they
was
bring
big.
in these big names still, but it's part of what always happens with the Yankees is they can't just stick to one lane. It's like either rebuild or go all in, and it's always half in. We still see it to this day. It's always half in. Like we'll go get like a decent third baseman instead of just going to get the best third baseman because we don't want to get rid of our prospects. We'll go get a decent outfielder because we don't want to get the best outfielder because we don't want to lose our prospects. And we have a whole conversation about prospect 2 episodes ago if you want to go listen to that one. But I could tell you the opening day. I can tell you. Oh, go ahead.
Is Robinson Cano one of the first signs of them being very careful about the money they spend?
Yeah, 100%. Now,
even
to
though
be
they
real
brought
with you,
in Ellsbury, so it was kind of a weird like situation there.
It was like I believe Ellsbury signed pretty late, so he signed after Cano signed. So you get the backlash of letting Cano go, and it's like, well, we went and got the best center fielder, to try to make up for it. I wonder if you put Truth Serum and Brian Cashman and asked him, like, did you really want Jacoby Ellsbury? He'd probably say no. But I do think it was the first sign of it because he was a homegrown. Like you would never see that with Derek Jeter.
Homegrown.
You'd never see it with anybody like that. That was that big of a staple in the Yankees lineup. But I think it was the first sign that they're going to be a lot more careful and they're not going to be as spend happy, we'll call it, with their money. And by the way, maybe it's a hot take, but they were right. Cano didn't really have a great end of that. He didn't really have a great contract. Like
when they got busted for the PEDs, right? And
he got busted for the PEDs
he
and also didn't play
Seattle?
well. He signed with Seattle. I'm sure he had a couple good years. I could take a look. I'm sure he had a couple good years when he did it.
I don't remember if there's another in between somewhere there.
No. He was on the Mariners.
Yeah.
And then he started to decline fast. He got busted for PEDs, and they went so hard to get rid of his contract that they traded Nunez with Cano to move the contract. Eduardo Nunez at the time was
Diaz.
Diaz.
Yeah,
I was looking at Nunez's name. Diaz. They traded Diaz with him, who was one of the best closers at the time, one of the best young closers. But they wanted to get rid of that contract. So I can look at his so he signs what I say in 16, 15, let's see, 14. Yeah, so he's 14. An all-star in 14. He's an all-star in 16 and 17. And then he gets suspended. Did bat 303, gets traded to the Mets with Diaz, but then that's like it. He never has a good season.
I know he did with the Mets,
Yeah. He actually his first at bat as a Met, he had a home run off Max Scherzer. So I'm sure Mets fans were going crazy, like he's gonna do this, and then he didn't. And then he spent 3 years there. Yeah, classic. The Mets are almost using the same. The Mets are almost using the same like blueprint as these like 2014, 2013 Yankees, where they just go get these veteran guys that are a little past their prime. Now some of them aren't. Like Bo Bichette was not past his prime, although. First podcast we ever did, I thought that was a terrible signing, and it's proving to be no more than I just don't like Bo Bichette because he screwed me in fantasy. But
also, did it make sense because they were playing him out of position?
Their whole infield's out of position except for their shortstop. Yeah. Everyone's a shortstop. They have an infield full of shortstops.
Yeah,
it's crazy. True. It's absolutely. It's like what you do in MLB The Show when you're like, I really want Gunnar Henderson and I want Elly De La Cruz. And I want Bobby Witt Jr. And I want Corey Seager. So, like, who's the slowest one? Who has the worst fielding? You go to first. Who has the weakest arm? You go to second. Who has the strongest arm? You go to short. Like, that's literally how they built their team, which is just not how baseball actually works. You don't just like go like, let's just get a bunch of shortstops. They can all field, right? They field the hardest position.
The Padres did that too, right? Yeah, Tatis, Machado, Xander Bogaerts.
And then, yeah, they had a bunch of shortstops there too, and then they had the one they built around. They moved to the outfield. They didn't even keep that shortstop. They moved him out of shortstop because he was not great there. But that's just not how you build. And look where they've been, right? Like they've had some good years, but they've been in the same kind of thing. But this is not how you build a team. Anyhow, so Cano had some good years with the Mariners, but that end of the contract was really, really bad. Not to say that Ellsbury's was any better, but yeah.
I'd like to go back and see what the rhetoric was on the Ellsbury signing. It's like, because from the top of my head, I don't think anyone was really on board with it because he was injury prone, and I think like he was a good defender, but I think
he was just coming off that career year, though, wasn't he?
I gotta look now. See. Yeah, I'm curious.
I'm looking at his stats right now, or I thought I was, but it's just his Wikipedia page again. Let me get his stats up because it might have been a couple years before 2013. No, 2013.
Well, 2011 was his all-time.
2011 was his big year. Yeah, that was his big year. If he would have signed that after that, it would have made a lot more sense. Probably
but his first year with the Yankees wasn't even that bad. Based off literally two stats.
Yeah, based off looking stats, right?
271, 39 stolen bases.
I gotta say something
homers, though. 39 RBI or 70 RBI.
I'm gonna be real with you. We said he's so injury prone. He never stays on the field. Dude played in 100 games. I know guys on the Yankees right now that don't hit 100 games. Played 100 games every single season with the Yankees.
Played 150, 111, 148, 112. Yeah.
So did he just suck? Those are two of the. He played 4 seasons, and 2 of them he almost played the whole thing.
Now I'm looking at his numbers. I'm like, Is it literally just like because the Yankees weren't doing that well?
Well, I'll say this with what they paid him, which I could tell you the contract right now. The contract was 7 years, 153. Sorry, gave me the option one first. So I'm not great at math, but I could do that really quick on my
23.
computer here. 7 years, 153. So 153 divided by 7. So he's getting 21 a year. Now, people listening, if you
At
don't
the
know baseball
time.
back then, that at the time, that is a huge deal.
Yeah, it's a big contract.
And I look at his stats, I'm like, actually, his stats aren't bad. But for $21 million a year, his WAR was, he accumulated, and WAR is not my
3617,
favorite stat.
2617. It's for me, it's an easy one to go to right off the bat.
He didn't even get 10 WAR
4 years.
in 4 years. He had 9.6 WAR, averaged 2.4 a season.
Yeah, so his last 3 years of that contract was
yeah.
nothing. It was a wash. Because he said he signed 7 year, right?
Yeah. That's the real one, that he never came back.
Yeah.
And that would be why I would say it's probably a rough one there. Yeah. Yep, he never came back. Injured all the way through. And they bought him out in 2021 for $5 million. And that's how he got released from the team.
That was an old team too, man.
He like distanced himself completely from the Yankees as well. He goes back to Red Sox games, and he threw out the first pitch a couple years ago and stuff like that. He completely distanced himself.
I don't think any Yankee fan remembers him in any sort of positive way.
No. Well, honestly, what did he do?
I think when you mention
the Yankees,
like mistakes Cashman made, Ellsbury is always one of the first ones that's mentioned that he actually did. Obviously, he has a long list of ones he didn't do, but in terms of signings that he actually made, Ellsbury is always one of them that people say that he shouldn't have done.
Well,
so I wouldn't come back either.
It also comes with like, that's the same year you don't re-sign Cano, and then you make the worst signing you've probably ever made,
and you don't win anything.
Well,
and you don't play well.
Let's see. So, Jacoby Ellsbury, Carl Palvano, Kei Igawa, and Tony Womack, 2 years, $4 million. That's considered number 4. So I guess he's not that many bad signings, because that's not terrible.
No,
his poor defense led to the
Cashman's a necessarily risky. I don't think he's necessarily a risky deal maker.
No, he's not. But that's why what we're talking about now, like, they're always half in. They're never fully bought into the rebuild, and they're never fully bought into the going all for it. It's like always half in, because you don't ever want to be bad.
Yeah, I think you see that with a lot of these years. And I also don't think, like, I think people try to go one of two ways, right? Where it's like you're either all in, 100% all in, or you're completely tanking and you sell off all your pieces, you start the kids, you go for draft picks. Like, I don't think that's necessarily the way to do things. And when your team is big as the Yankees with the money they have, you don't need to tank. Like, but the Yankees have done a good job of, on paper, developing prospects to trade, and they don't do that. And then they have options to sign great veterans, and they don't do that. Instead, they sign. We've had this conversation a bajillion times, but like, we see it in these middling years where you're like, but these are the years that I kind of understand what they're doing, where they're like, we're just trying to stay afloat and figure out what's next. In the meantime, we'll just try to give you playoff baseball. They just didn't for those 2 years. So
I'm kind of wondering who else was a free agent in that offseason.
2013, 2014?
2013, 2014. So the best free agents were Hiroki Kuroda was number 3. Like, this is by WAR. Again, not my favorite stat, but this is by WAR. Kuroda was number 3, went to the Yankees. Ellsbury was number 2, went to the Yankees. Cano was number 1, left the Yankees. Honestly, not many great free agents here. Mike Napoli was the fourth best free agent. Carlos Beltrán, but we're talking like very end of the career. He did have a couple good years after this with the St. Louis Cardinals. Sorry, he went from the St. Louis Cardinals to the Yankees. So the Yankees signed him as well. He's the fifth best free agent at the time. Sorry, I was reading this backwards. They lost Granderson that offseason. Like Brandon Ryan was number 10 based on WAR. This wasn't like an amazing free agency class.
That explains a lot of the stuff they did.
Yeah, that explains why they spent so much for Jacoby Ellsbury. I mean, if you're just going by WAR, there's only 6 players with 10 plus WAR, only 2 players with 15 plus WAR, and one of them left your team. So it makes a little more sense. A couple more things about 2014 before we move on. This is the season that Michael Pineda had the stuff on his neck against the Red Sox. For people that might not know or aren't Yankees fans, against the Red Sox in Fenway Park. Michael Pineda's the big blob of sticky stuff on his neck. And at that time, you could do sticky stuff as long as you weren't blatant, like, putting it directly in the middle of the camera on a national televised game. That one usually probably get you thrown out. And it did get him thrown out. CC Sabathia had a triple play while he was on the mound. It was a 5-4-3 triple play. Don't see a lot of those. On May 20th.
In my head, Michael Pineda was much better than he was.
Yes. Yeah. Well, because he had one, like, his rookie year, not even with us, was really good. Like,
he was not good.
He was traded for Jesus Montero, who was also another one of those prospects hyped up. At the end of the day, Montero was traded for Michael Pineda. So, like, really, how hype was he?
In 2014, he was 5-5 with a 1.89 ERA in 13 games. But then he's 12-10, 6-12, 8-4, with a 4.37 ERA, 4.82 ERA, and then a 4.39 ERA.
See, the difference is I never once thought he was good. Like, I always knew.
I don't know why
he was
in my
bad.
head I'm like, he was a solid 2-3. No.
Well, he was a solid 3-4. It's like not as a 4. It's not terrible, but
a 4, I guess. 500. I mean, I guess that's what you want your 4 and 5 to be, right?
14 is also the year they traded for Brandon McCarthy, who we talked about. Brandon McCarthy had a really good career with the Diamondbacks and the A's. Dylan Betances and Tanaka, along with Jeter, were all All-Stars, but Tanaka did not go, so he was replaced by a Red Sox starter. Let's see what else is cool about 2014. Nothing really was cool about 2014. The Yankees traded for Martin Prado in this one. They also got Stephen Drew for Kelly Johnson, and they released Scott Sizemore. So
I remember Stephen Drew a little bit.
Yeah, Stephen Drew was memorable because I believe he had the double flap. I think he had the flaps on. Maybe I'm thinking Jed Lowry though. They're kind of the same player in my head.
They are kind of the same player. Yeah. They are kind of the same player in my head.
I don't know who is who. Brian Roberts was on this team, like we already said. Martin Prado, Chris Young was on this team as well. If we're talking about funny names that were on the team, we already talked about Carlos Beltrán. Brian McCann was the catcher. His Wikipedia page. Oh no, that's the Braves. I was gonna say it's also that, but it's not. That was Tanaka's first year, and no one else. Rich Hill was on the team. Dick Mountain was on the team. So the last year of the weird in between, I guess there's 2 years left in the weird in between, is 2015. So Jeter is gone. The only one left, there's 2 people left in that like 2009 team, and that's A-Rod and Teixeira.
Yep. Matches are there. I know, and then CC, right? Pitcher.
CC, yeah. Sorry, I should have said in the starting lineup are those 2. Jeter retired. Cervelli is gone. Martin Prado, they obviously got rid of, even though that's a tough one to do. Suzuki, Ichiro leaves at that time as well. David Robinson, who I remember, the best memory of David Robinson is getting out of the bases loaded jam with nobody out in the playoffs.
I love him.
Still, yeah, I still love him for just that moment. But me too. Me too. And then he came back and all that. They got Nathan Eovaldi. This is the first year with the Yankees. Didi Gregorius. This is his first year. They got Garrett Jones, who started a lot of games for the Yankees. That's the only reason I bring him up, as well. And then this is the year of Andrew Miller as well.
Oh,
Andrew
yeah.
Miller's a Yankee, his first year on this one. The starting lineup is Jacoby Ellsbury, Brett Gardner, and Carlos Beltrán lead off. Teixeira, McCann, Chase Headley is also on this team. A-Rod, Steven Drew, Gregorius, and Tanaka was the opening day starter. So they were kind of in that in between. They got McCann now. They bring in Chase Headley, who was supposed to be like a good stopgap at third base.
Yeah.
They still have Teixeira out there. They bring in Beltrán. Ellsbury, as we've already talked about, is supposed to be this MVP level guy. Steven Drew at second base probably isn't the best, but they bring in Gregorius to try to fill the shoes of Jeter, which he does not do yet. When he first got there, people hated Gregorius because he just like.
Well, he was bad in the
not-
first 2 weeks.
He wasn't good. Yeah,
Like,
he wasn't good for a little bit
yeah.
there.
But he kicked on that first year.
He did. He kicked it on towards the end.
He was good. I don't think he was anything crazy by the end of it, obviously.
Some key things from this year as well. Garrett Jones designated for assignment in July. I know that hurts a lot of people, so I want to make sure I brought that one out. They traded for Dustin Ackley. Again, same person in my eyes, I guess. And then the actual big thing was Luis Severino debuted in August of this year.
This is the Greg Bird year. My brother makes fun of me all the time because I swore by Greg Bird. His swing.
A lot of people did. You weren't alone.
His swing made the most sense in that stadium. I swore by Greg Bird. For like years, I would always tell my brother, I'm like, he's gonna come back. He's gonna be good. And he just never did. Just disappeared to the ether. And I was so mad. So I had so much faith in Greg Bird.
This team
had no
made the
reason
playoffs,
to.
by the way.
This team did?
This team made the playoffs.
Oh, they lost the wild card, right?
They lost in the wild card.
Yeah.
The biggest thing to come out of this season is this is the year CC Sabathia checked himself into rehab during the season. That is something that was huge at the end of the year. And then I think the last year to really go over before we could just kind of like sit and digest everything we just talked about here is 2016. They do miss the playoffs this year, but this is really the year that the shift is made. 17, they make the playoffs. We're not going to go over that. That's Aaron Judge's rookie year and all that other stuff. But this is when like the baby bombers tag gets put on them. This is A-Rod's final season. He gets released in August, 4 home runs from 600,
Crazy.
which is crazy. This team, let me see if I can find. So the starting lineup in April was Ellsbury, Aaron Hicks. People hate Aaron Hicks now, but he actually had some time with the Yankees that made, he was good. A-Rod was the DH, Teixeira, Beltrán, McCann, Headley, Starlin Castro, Didi Gregorius, Masahiro Tanaka was the starting pitcher. But during this season, we see the Major League debut of Chad Green. We also get the trade for Aroldis Chapman. We see the rise of Dylan Betances as well this year. What's up?
Is this Gary Sanchez's first year?
This is Gary Sanchez's first year as well.
This is him, Tyler Austin, and Judge.
And Judge comes up. Clint Frazier was traded for this year. But that didn't really mean anything. At the time, it was a big deal.
At the time, it was big, yeah.
Wait, sorry. Reverse.
Big.
I said they got his debut. Yeah, he made his debut. So Aroldis Chapman made his debut, and then he was traded to the Cubs this year for Gleyber Torres, and then signed back to the Yankees at the end of the year. So this is the year he was debuted because he was suspended, and then gets traded, and then comes back. So this is when Gleyber Torres becomes a Yankee as well, and this is when Tyler Austin and Aaron Judge were called up, made their debuts, and hit back-to-back home runs as well. And Judge looked terrible, by the way. The entire rest
chaotic
of the
year, huh?
Chaotic year. Like I said, it was weird because it was very in between. Like, you still got Teixeira and A-Rod, who Teixeira played to the end of the year. and A-Rod got released. They both retire after this year. CC's still on the team, and there's just a lot of moving parts going all over the place. But you start to see the core of the team. We can quickly go over 17 to see who was still there and who was gone at that point. But you start to see the core of the team moving around and becoming the new core that kind of still there today. I guess not really as much, just Judge,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you kind of this is definitely where you started to see like the young names, like the prospects start to come up and like the young names really start to shine in the minor leagues that you can see the clear what they're trying to do with the prospects. And it's just a matter of who they're bringing up and who they're going to trade. So yeah, you see Tyler Austin, Gary Sanchez,
Luis
Judge.
Severino's
You
first
had
full year.
Severino coming out. So it was like starting to make sense. You had now Clint Frazier, and then you end up getting Glaber, and all the things are starting to make sense in terms of their young pieces. So this is
So
for sure 16 is when now things start to turn, and you're
yeah,
like, okay, we're getting young. The Yankees are gonna be the youthful Yankees now, and the baby bombers and all that stuff, and like the direction was clear at that time. And then they trade for Stan.
and then they trade for Stan and kind of shift the entire thing. So that was Teixeira's last year, and I just want to bring up a story. I went to the game in Toronto. It was the last game of the series with the Yankees. They were bad. It was towards the end of the year, and Teixeira hit 2 home runs in that game, I believe it was. But he got like hit by a pitch and cleared the bases or cleared the benches. I was all the way up in the nosebleeds, and you can just hear him screaming at whoever hit him and stuff like that. And then comes up and hits a home run. The entire place went silent. You could just hear him talking so much smack as he's going back to the dugout. I liked as a player Mark Teixeira a lot. Gotta make sure I say as a player, Mark Teixeira a lot. When I was younger, I was a first baseman slash catcher. So at first base, I like to replicate how he was at first base, and that was a fun time in the end of that season. But 16 was a weird year. They missed the playoffs after making the playoffs the year before, and then you get to 17 where everything kind of came together for the Yankees, and we started to see the era they're in. I would say this started the era they're in now, even though it's really just Judge that's left at this point. When you think of it, it's literally 10 years ago that this
Yeah.
started. You know what I mean? Like it's been 10 years since the
Yeah, is
2017
anyone other than
season.
him still here? No, it would just be him. He was going off
Well,
the
let
top
me
of
look
my
at the
head.
roster and I could tell you for
None of the
for
pitchers.
sure. No. Sonny Gray was on this team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. Canley's gone.
Well, Tyler Clippard was on this team. I forgot about him.
Tyler Clippard was on this team. Yeah, everybody else is gone at this point. Yep, everyone's gone. So the opening day lineup was very different. I don't even think it's here, but I just remember it was like very weird because all those names, your Teixeira, A-Rod, Jeter, all those guys were gone. So none of those guys were in the lineup. But this is the breakout of Aaron Judge. This is when he came up. He was awful in 16, got sent down, changed his swing a little bit, and now he's, you know, should be a 4-time MVP.
Yeah, well, second, this was when he lost it to Altuve, right?
Altuve in 2017.
Yeah.
This is the year. This is the year he lost it to Altuve. Also the year that other things were happening with the Houston Astros as well. But there were a lot of names that were not only key names, but guys that were like beloved Yankees on this team. We already talked about Dylan Betances, Chad Green, Tommy Kahnle. Were
The
all really
bullpen
loved
was
Yankees.
huge.
Yeah, the bullpen was huge, but they were also like really, really loved.
Yeah.
Sevy was obviously loved. I believe this was CeCe's last year as a Yankee, but it might have been
Yeah, I think so.
2019. I could check on that in a
Let's look.
second.
Yeah.
David Robinson was on this team as well. This is the year Matt Holliday and Todd Frazier. So Stanton was one of my favorite players before he went to the Yankees. Obviously, Stanton's got whatever, people feel about him now. Starlin Castro was actually one of my favorite Yankees when he was on this team.
I was a big
loved
fan of
Starlin
him
Castro.
even when they traded for him, I was a big fan of the move.
Yeah,
because
I was a big fan of the move too.
I think post Cano, they were similar to how they were post Cheater, where they're like, we don't really know who's playing this position. Like we're kind of putting people there to just kind of hope and see. And then
Sounds
I think
familiar.
getting Castro was like, cool, we're solid at second base. Like he's not going to be MVP, but he's not going to be trash. He's a solid second baseman. We're solid there. Don't got to worry about it.
And it's weird because he
So I
never really
love that
stuck
move.
on. He never really stuck on anywhere. Like
No.
even after he left the Yankees, he was always good, but he never really. So in 2017, he was an all-star. He hit 300 with 16 home runs. He was traded in that offseason to Miami. Plays 2 more seasons with Miami before 2 seasons with the Nationals, and then calls it a career. Retired at 31. But he was it was bittersweet because I was happy to get Stanton because I was a big Stanton fan. And then it was also upsetting because I really like Starlin Castro, and it made me sad to see him go. And until Jazz gets here, second base was still kind of a mess. LeMahieu had that for a little bit, but when they brought in LeMahieu, he was just kind of supposed to be a stopgap guy that gave people time off. He was never supposed to be the starting second baseman, so they didn't even know what to do with it at that point either.
What did they do at second base even then next year? All the Glaber. They moved Glaber over there.
They moved Glaber over a couple years down the road. Yeah.
Then you had Glaber, DJ, Jazz. Was that kind of the big names? Obviously, you had other randos playing it. But those are kind of the three.
At second base, yeah. DJ, Glaber, and Jazz. That's it. You don't really have any other big names playing second base for the Yankees since Starlin Castro. The infield was Starlin Castro, Didi Gregorius, Greg Bird, and then a mixture of Miguel Andujar. This is the year that they declined to trade Miguel Andujar for Garrett Cole. This is that trade deadline. Tyler Wade played third. Todd Frazier played third. Miguel Andujar played third. So they had like a mix. Chase Headley played third. Again, 10 years ago. Sounds very familiar. Just they don't.
Been like that ever since. Like who's actually? We're not gonna have this conversation again about. But like, who's stuck at third base? DJ?
No one. Yeah. I mean, we already did this for just. It's funny because we only did this for 2020, but we just did this. We just did this.
Yep.
I'm just going into the next year.
Well, then you had Andujar.
Brandon Drury, Andujar.
And then Andujar was kind of the next one. Him and Clint Frazier were kind of the next ones that you're like, all right, now we got all the young players up, right? Because I think at that point you had Glaber, Judge, Gary. I don't think Tyler Austin was really a factor anymore by that year.
No, he looks like he was gone at that. No, he was there. He was still on the team the next year. We're in 18
so you had all
now.
these young guys, and you're like, we have the next core four, right? That was the thought because you had Sebi, Judge, Gary, and I forgot who they were. Glaber, I think, was who they were incorporating in there.
Judge
as the next core
Gary,
four.
And Glaber Torres, and then you also had Clint Frazier and Andujar that were supposed to be a part of that core as well. Gregorius was still probably the leader of the team at the time, but again, third base was Drury, Neil Walker.
Neil Walker, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like they just don't really. Miguel Andujar, Andy Henchefaria.
Oh yeah.
Third base. So again, like we're just talking about it again. They just don't have. It's almost like they haven't had a true third baseman since Alex Rodriguez.
They run.
Like I was gonna make jokes and stuff, but it's very scary. Like it might be true. Now I'm in 19. We're going way off track of what we were trying to do, but like it's the next year. It's Andujar, Estrada, LeMahieu, and Urshela, and Tyler Wade are listed as played at least one game at third base.
Yeah.
By the way, the 2019 team, shades of 2013. I'll tell you that right now. Shades of 2013. 2019.
19.
2019 team is shades of 2013. You
That
don't even
work.
have. I could go. They have J.A. Happ, who he's not really a who's that because he had big moments with the Yankees. But Cameron Maben is on this team. Troy Tulowitzki, Kendrys Morales is on this team.
Oh,
Edwin
goodness.
Encarnacion. Like it's kind
That
of
was for,
shades of 2013.
Not that many games though, right? From Morales?
It couldn't have been. Kendrys Morales has one of like the saddest stories because he was a stud and then broke his leg on a
19 games.
walk-off grand slam.
Yeah.
And just never recovered from it.
Yeah, he played
ever.
19 games.
Yeah, he came at the end of the year, right? That was his
Yeah.
last season. His last season was 2019 with the Yankees.
Mike Talkman. God, this team.
But
Really good
Talkman
this
came
year.
up with the Yankees. You know what I mean? Like, it's not some of these guys I'm naming, they didn't come up with the Yankees. They were like Cameron Maben's got to be at the end of his career at that point. Troy Tulowitzki, we had a whole discussion on one episode ago. So just go back to the last episode. Same with Encarnacion. But it's just funny when you go through this.
James Paxton.
James Paxton.
He was pitching the WBC.
He did. He was fantastic. It's funny because you go through this stuff and like, we went all the way back to 2013. It's the same game plan every single time. It's the same game plan. Like take the young guys and just throw old stars around them. Like put an old star at third base, hope they do well, and then continue on from there. 2020 was the most solid they were at third base. Only LeMahieu and Urshela played third base, and it looks like Tyler Wade played a couple games. That's it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Man. But no, I think basically to go back to the topic that we started this with, I think
a little bit off topic.
Started to see the turn in 16. You had kind of no man's land for that. For what, 12? Not 12. For 13 through 15. Even though
13 through 15, or at
playoffs.
least half of 16. I would say half of 16 was also no man's land. Like they finally started to come together after it, but like until halfway through, like I don't think so. They still had all those old guys out there.
It's funny seeing the names. It's funny seeing the names, man. Even the ones that played only like 20 games.
What was it, 2005? So I saw something that said 2013 Yankees were a lot like the 2005 Yankees with the stars like that. So I'm going to go look really quick because I want to see if that's true. So
I mean, I guess, but they were 95 and 67 in 2005.
No, it's not. It's not about being bad. It's about the
you mean
old
the
players. Name. Yeah, like that was Randy Johnson was on that team. Tony Womack was on that team. Andy Phillips was on that team.
2005?
2005, yeah. Ruben Sierra, Bubba Crosby, Sean Chacon. It is kind of a who's who of characters across it a little bit. But the reason that they were good is because there's like Mike Mussina. Obviously, I say Randy Johnson, but he was also, we talked about, he was all right. He had like 4 ERA, but he had 17 wins or something like that, right? Chen Meng Wang was on this team, and he 19 game winner 2 years in a row, even though he never really had a. But some of the names are kind of funny, like Aaron Small. I remember when they made that trade. Wasn't Aaron Small the guy that like went 10-0 or something like that? One of these guys, he was 10-0 in 15 games. Like
9 stars.
So some of the names are kind of fun to see, but then going back to it, they had Jorge Posada and Derek Jeter and Jason Giambi, Tino Martinez, Alex Rodriguez. But like Mark Bellhorn.
This is rookie Cano?
Yeah, it's got to be rookie Cano. Yeah, he was number 14 and number 22, so it's got to be rookie Cano. I have a baseball card of Robinson Cano where he's wearing number 14 because it was his rookie. It was like before his rookie year or something like that. But some of them are kind of funny.
I don't know that.
He was second in rookie of the year. Was 2005 his actual rookie? Yeah, it was, because I was just reading about Tony Womack was one of the worst. They said, remember, he's one of the worst signings. I was like, Tony Womack, that's weird. But they said that he was so bad at second base, they had to move him to the outfield and make room for Robinson Cano. Because he was so bad at second base, they needed somebody else there.
Houston Street won Rookie of the Year that year.
Houston. And with that...
How do you pitch that?
Oh, man. Houston Street used to be good. Back in the day.
5-1, 1.72 ERA in 67 games, 23 saves.
In Colorado.
72 strikeouts and 78.1 innings.
Was he in Colorado first, or was he in with the Angels first?
Oakland.
I don't remember. Oakland. So neither of them. Fantastic.
He was Oakland for 4 years, Colorado. Finished in LA. For all those that came to hear Houston Street talk.
Yeah. Anybody that's left, that's what they were waiting for. They're waiting for the Houston Street
They
talk.
got to mention Houston Street.
They were screaming like, when are they going to mention Houston Street? God damn it. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening. It was fun to go down memory lane and see what the Yankees have done.
2005 team. Stacked.
So by the time you listen to this, the Yankees will have won every single game since we recorded, which is amazing. You know, they're going to win them all. We'll be back with more timely podcasts coming soon. Just with the holiday, we decided to record a little early. Make sure you follow us, Crosstown Nine, on all social media platforms. You can also join the Discord, which is in the description of the video, and you can get the updates from there. Every time we post a video, it will pop up right there on Discord. So you don't even got to go find us. You can just go right there. You can also get in the conversation, and maybe we'll do some behind the scenes stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe we'll do live streaming to Discord or something like that. You can watch it live. You'll never know unless you join the Discord. I can make as many promises as I want, because if you're not there, you'll never know. So it doesn't matter. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed your 4th of July. It's coming up for us, so I'm going to say, hey, have a safe 4th of July. I hope you had a safe 4th of July.
Keep all your fingers.
See you later. Keep all your fingers. NFL players, please do not play with fireworks. This is that time of year for you guys. Thank you guys so much. This has been the Crosstown Nine. We'll see you later. Go Yankees.